This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studios. First up, ladies and gentlemen, US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is on an official visit to Bharat, and he's in New Delhi between the 17th and 18th of June. And this is following an invitation from the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Now, he's accompanied by senior US government officials and industry leaders. Jake Sullivan's visit underscores the ongoing high-level engagement between the two nations, focusing on a robust and multifaceted agenda under the India-US Global Strategic Partnership. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also set to release the 17th installment of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi or PM Kisan, and this will be on Tuesday, and this is totaling over 20,000 crore rupees to approximately 9.26 crore beneficiary farmers, and this will be through direct benefit transfer. Foreign brokerage firm CLSA has said that Indian banks have established themselves on a much stronger footing led by cleaner balance sheets, record profits and inexpensive valuations. CLSA has said in a report that it believes Indian banks are well placed after a roller coaster decade. The balance sheets are the strongest they have been in over a decade, and profits have rebounded sharply, quadrupling over the last 10 years. Newly elected President of the Confederation of Indian Industry or CII and Managing Director of ITC Sanjeev Puri has stated that within a few years Bharat will undoubtedly be among the world's top 3 economies. Puri has said that CIA has projected the country's GDP growth at 8% for this year. Several positive factors are contributing to this outlook. And Bharat has produced over 40 quantum technology startups in 2 years, few of them with global potential. Union Minister of State, independent charge for science and technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh has said now the minister directed officials to focus on the flagship National Quantum Mission and work on the development of quantum technologies and quantum communication. Foreign investors have made a strong comeback with a net inflow of 11,730 crore or $1.4 billion in the week ending June 14th, driven by positive signals from domestic and global markets. The net inflow was in stark contrast to the net outflow of 14,794 crore or 1.77 billion witnessed in the preceding week between June 3 to 7. That was around the time when the results happened and the fluctuations in the stock market happened. Now, this is data with depositories that showed. Now, with the latest flow, net outflow stood at 3,064 crore in the month of June till the 14th so far. That should change by the end of the month, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's set up the big story today. It's the subject matter of debate. The new NCERT Class 11 and 12 textbooks are in headlines after hitting the market with several deletions and changes. Now, this revised version was recommended by the NCERT panel on the 5th of April this year. The latest deletions in the textbooks include BJP's Rath Yatra from Somnath in Gujarat to Ayodhya, the role of the Kar Sevaks in the violence in the wake of the demolition of the Babri structure, President's rule in BJP-ruled states, and of course BJP's expression of regret over the happenings in Ayodhya, rejecting accusations of saffronization of the school curriculum. NCERT Director Dinesh Prasad Saklani has spoken, and he had a detailed interview to PTI where he said textbook revisions are part of annual revision and should not be the subject of hue and cry, and this is being done to end appeasement and to create a sense of equality, equilibrium, and to try and not push hate or a certain level of animosity over what happened, prevailing situation in our country amid school students. Why do school students need to know all of this? When they graduate, when they grow older, they can always learn about these changes when they are able to appreciate facts as they were. Let's dive straight into the debate, ladies and gentlemen. We've got plenty of ground to cover. We've got to hear on this Monday edition of The Right Stand. Professor Nachiketa Tiwari of Professor IIT Kanpur, and he's also steered the launch of the MA in Hindu Studies program in 25 plus universities across Bharat. He's also deeply studied the NCERT curriculum while punching holes through it. Atikur Rahman, Islamic scholar with us. Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, is with us. Shyam Prasad Meka, leader of the Congress party, also with us. Neeraj Atri is with us, beg your pardon. Neeraj Atri is with us, author of Brainwashed Republic, not Syed Asad Abbas. Let's go straight across to all our guests. Professor Nachiketa Tiwari, how would you see the changes that have been made? Is there a political intent to these changes? Have other facets of our history been revised in these NCERT textbooks?
Yeah. So, first thing is that this is a very minor change, the way I look at it, because the entire history which is being taught to us is essentially propaganda, and it's not about truth. And whatever in context of Babri Masjid and Ram Janmabhoomi Temple was there in existing textbook, it was still a part of a small, very small part of the overall propaganda. Now, this word propaganda and this characterization is not mine. I'll just cite two examples, and both examples or passages are from leftist historians themselves, and that will it clearly demonstrate that it is indeed a propaganda. So the first passage I'm going to quote is from one Kapil Komiredi. He's an accomplished intellectual. He writes in several international newspapers. He has written on history. He's definitely not a Hindutva guy. And here in his book, The Malevolent Republic, he writes in one of the passages, I'll just read it. Medieval India, despite all the evidence of its methodical disfigurement, was depicted in school books as an idyll where Muslims and Hindus coexisted in harmony and forged an inclusive idea of India which the British came and shattered. This fable was so wholly internalized by the secular establishment which dispensed it that as late as 1998, K.R. Narayanan was able to tell an audience in Turkey that the most amazing fact about his homeland before it was defiled by the European intrusion was that the interaction between old civilization of India, the Hindu civilization, and the Islamic civilization was a friendly experience. I mean, this is what he's saying, that this is all propaganda.
Yeah.
And he says that the leftists developed this propaganda, I mean, this is his understanding, with the intent that, oh, if you do not reveal the bad acts and bad things of the past, that will set the foundation for more harmonious relationship between different communities in our country. The second passage I'm going to quote, and after that I will not speak, but I think it is very important, is from one Mr. Niladri Bhattacharya. Now, Mr. Niladri Bhattacharya, or actually Professor Niladri Bhattacharya, he retired from Jawaharlal National University, and he was very intrinsically involved with the last set of history textbooks which were developed by NCERT. He was, I think, the chairman or the principal advisor, and he himself writes, and I'll just cite two passages, again, brief passages, but the first thing he says is that historians, he's writing, and you can Google it and you'll find this. He says that historians, earlier they were concerned with facticity, whether or not the specific event happened or not, whether a memory was true or false. Historians have now turned to exploring the politics of memory, attempting to understand what is remembered and what is forgotten, showing how collective memories of trauma and humiliation are shaped by what we read. And then he gives an example that how this politics of memory has been executed by leftists, and he himself is a leftist, and he's saying it with pride because he's trying to fix an age-old problem of communal strife in India. And I'm just abbreviating his long passage because we don't have a lot of time. He gives an example. He gives several examples, but he cites a wonderful example in context of Somnath. He says that secular histories return to the past to counter these claims, quote, of non-secular historians to build an alternate social memory. And then he cites an example, memories of Somnath, we are told, nurtured a profound feeling of anger, shame, and hurt. And then, so what happened in 1930s, Muhammad Habib, a famous historian, he was the first to confront this social memory of Mahmud's invasion. And then Habib showed that, oh, Mahmud was driven by greed and lust. And he explains further, but not by bigotry. Second, Habib suggested that such memories were produced by a colonial education system. And third, he says that Habib traced a long history of syncretism, tolerance, and inter-community exchanges. So in these ways, they have developed strategies to erase long-term memories, reconstitute them, and I'm using this reconstitute word from his own article which he has published in an international journal, that one of the objectives to reconstitute memories. So this is all propaganda. This is a very minor thing which these guys have done, and it is, I mean, I don't think it matters a whole lot in the larger scheme of things. The main thing is that the entire set of textbooks, they are still driven by propaganda and ideologies and not by facts.
Not by
And I
fact.
think
So this
not by
entire game
facts.
of revisionism has been going on for a long, long time, and to reset the memories and to alter the whole narrative. Shyam Prasad Meka, would you want to your thoughts, sir?
See, on either side, first thing that we need to understand is, let's be a confident society who can face the truth. History is not as you whitewash. We will have grievous things, wrongs, rights done in the past. Let's take it in us. Let's understand, oh yeah, we are that kind of society at one point of time due to this. And then we became a better society. Why are we not a confident society? Why do we need to brush things under the carpet or whitewash the history? That is not required. I'm telling you, just because now the BJP government has done it, you might think I'm saying this. No, even the earlier governments, when they did it, or the whitewashing of history, this is the same thinking I have. Right? So we don't need to whitewash the history. Let the history be based on facts. No problem. We might have erred. We might have done something wrong as a society. Not only us, right? The entire human race is evolving. The human race was at one point of time was barbaric.
Yeah.
We are becoming civilized. What is wrong in knowing that? So do we need to say, oh, we are for thousands of years, all humans are very nice guys? No, we're not. It's better to understand it, understand the truth, and then move from there.
The whole thought process is which history has been actually outlined, and at what stage of a student's life, what part of the history and what fact should be outlined. Are 300, 600 years of colonial rule and also Mughal rule the glorious part of our history? Or is there so much more that should have been spoken about? That's one point of view. The other point of view is the slant and the narrative with which it's been pointed out. Neeraj Atri?
Yeah. I would second what Nachiketa ji was saying, that this is a very minor change that has been made. It is being done in, it is just a patchwork which has been done, and still such a large hue and cry has been raised. Second thing that Nachiketa ji was saying was that it is a propaganda. Primarily it is propaganda, and I again agree with him on this also. But I would like to tell you that what has been done is, we are talking about the books of political science and history. I'll just give a quote from the book which is being right now read by students of our nation. This is page number 81 of NCERT class 8th history book. The 7th chapter is about reformation.
Okay.
And here what is being done is, Ram Mohan Roy is being glorified as a very good social reformer. And it is a trick being used over here. Now, this trick was used by Mahatma Gandhi also. Gandhiji used to do was that he would create a fictional character, he would ask some question, and then Gandhiji would give the reply to it. Now, the trick played over here is that the question that is asked is always very frivolous or very, which would be so childish that it can be easily answered by the protagonist. The same trick was used by Ram Mohan Roy in his writings. I'll just give example of that. First, he writes, the title which is given is, we first tie them down to the pile. Now, this is for class 8. Like you were saying that the age of the student matters a lot. When a girl is in 8th class, she's what, 13 or 14 years of age, most impressionable. The hormones are rising, and this is the age when rebellion is kicking in. What are these girls of 13, 14 years of age forced to read? Start from the title, we first tie them down to the pile. Then, advocate of Sati, what is he saying? Women are by nature of inferior understanding, without resolution, unworthy of trust. Many of them, on the death of their husbands, become desirous of accompanying them, but to remove every chance of their trying to escape from the blazing fire. In burning them, we first tie them down to the pile. This is the kind of fictional propaganda that is being fed to impressionable minds. And then Ram Mohan Roy replies, opponent of Sati, when did you ever afford them a fair opportunity of exhibiting their natural capacity? How then can you accuse them of want of understanding if after instruction and knowledge and wisdom a person cannot comprehend or retain what has been taught him? We may consider him as deficient, but if you do not educate women, how can you see them as inferior? Gist of these two paragraphs is that our ancestors were so barbaric that they used to tie women to be killed in that fire of the funeral pyre. True. But not a single sentence mentioning that this is the nation where the Vedas have been written. There are shlokas which have been written by women, and this is the only civilization in which women have been so glorified and they have been writing the sacred scriptures of the country. But due to this slant of ideology, such lopsided views are being presented. Second example, page number 80 of the same book. What they're saying, Ram Mohan Roy, it is about Ram Mohan Roy, he tried to show through his writings that the practice of widow burning had no sanction in ancient texts. And he was using the strategy which later reformers as well used. Whenever they wished to challenge a practice that seemed harmful, they tried to find a verse or sentence in the ancient sacred texts that supported their point of view. Now, this is entirely turning everything upside down. Our scriptures start from Ramayana, start from Mahabharata. You see, Dashrath dies, all the 3 wives are alive, none of them goes in for Sati. When Kunti's husband dies, she is still present there. You can give thousands and thousands of examples that there is no religious sanction of Sati being done, and yet the image that is being created for impressionable minds that this is what was happening. That is why I'm saying that if we look at the larger picture, this is just a small patchwork which has been done. Rightly so, this needed to be done, but a lot more needs to be done.
Atikur Rahman.
Fine. So, Anand, are we awaiting, a larger picture to come before us? And next will be Raja Ram Mohan Roy being deleted from history? Anyways, as far as the Babri Masjid controversy in the NCERT goes, what I think is they are correct saying that this is a very small pounds in the whitewashing of the history, their sins, their ill deeds. What I feel is, as a research student, our university students going for research and their PhD theses, they will be more, digging the things when they will be reading that what exactly is this 3-dome structure. And how can you pinpoint that a 9th class student trying to study political science will not be questioning their professors, their teachers, that what exactly was this 3-dome structure, and that teacher will be denying them the right, not explaining them that what this 3-dome structure was, how it came down on this date and this year. How much you will be hiding from the student community, and if in this particular age of artificial intelligence, will you be able to calm down their curiosity to know more? Will the teacher deny the right of the student that no, you are not supposed to ask questions that what exactly was this 3-dome structure which stood in these many years, and will the teacher hide that what the Supreme Court ultimately opined about this Babri Masjid, the so-called 3-dome structure, and said that there was no mosque built on the ruins of a temple. There is no evidence of ruining a temple upon which this 3-dome structure came up.
Okay.
So what are we, up to, Anand? Raja Ram Mohan Roy being questioned by our, esteemed panelist over here. So we can imagine.
So in that merit, then are you worried that the fact that there is a structure standing on top of a temple at Gyanvapi is not being mentioned with the pictures and pictorial references, and that there is another structure that's been built over the Jain temples, and the Jain, as far as the Qutub area is concerned, is not mentioned, that pillar, that aisle pillar, is actually a Vishnu Stambh around which there were temples, Hindu and Jain temples, which have not been shown. So you should have raised, should that also not be shown? Should our history books also very clearly say that till when was jizya being taken from Hindus, even in independent India? Should that also be mentioned? Should that also be said that what was done with the tribals of Santhal and what was done in these regions by the so-called missionaries and the Abrahamic faiths, and how these tribals were so should all this also be done? Should what happened in Mopla by the Moplas, what the Moplas conducted, should that also be very clearly delineated and should be explained to 11th standard, 12th standard students? Nachiketa Tiwari, if that's the explanation, sir, then what we have to say, the actual meaning of why Hindu Kush, the mountains, got their name, and what Hindu Kush actually means, should that also be put? What was done with Raja Ranjit Singh's Guru Hargobind Singh's 2 children? Should that also be very clearly delineated with pictorial representation so that the facts are presented, Nachiketa Tiwari? Then how are we going to have this entire because everything has been done to try and assuage certain sentiments, right? When Mr. Atikur Rahman says this about what's being attempted with Ayodhya, then what should be said about the murtis from Mathura? Where do they should those pictures of where they are under which masjid in Agra, should that also be put out there? And should that history be also be stated very clearly? So there is a lot which is inconvenient. There is a lot which is inconvenient in our history, which we believe that the coming generations should be told at the right time when they're mature enough to understand and accept it as facts and not clear. Nachiketa Tiwari, how would you want to respond to Atikur Rahman?
Yeah. I think we should not shy away from facts. There are facts which are inconvenient. We should put them on the table. Let everyone look at those facts. And, for instance, in South Africa, once the white regime got over and the natives took over, they had a truth commission. Let all the facts come out. Only then this reconciliation process can start. If you deny the past, it doesn't help. I mean, that is what Kapil Komireddy was writing in his book. I'll give you another example. And this is again from a historian, a leftist historian. He writes very clearly, we secular historians are haunted by a deep anxiety. We turn to the past in search of humanity, tolerance, and whatever. We hesitate to dwell on histories of intolerance or sectarian conflicts. We are reluctant to recognize the role religion plays in the politics of everyday life. So if you deny history, I mean, this guy, you cannot be more direct than this. If you deny what is there, it's not history. Then
but at what time should it be revealed to young minds? And at what stage of their maturity and their understanding is a big question, sir. Because the Kashmir Hindu exodus is not mentioned in our history books as it should be.
It's not mentioned in
the stories are not mentioned as they should be. So there is a lot of economics, being economical with fact and truth that has happened across the board.
I'll try to answer that question. I'll try to answer that question. See, there's only X number of periods in a school, and then you have in X period, you have to learn a lot of subjects. So you have a very limited number of periods, and then you also have an age. There are 2 approaches to this problem, whether it should be denied or not. So first approach is that don't just talk about these things. That is the present approach, the leftist approach. Don't talk about this. This will create problems. But then you can take a more educated, enlightened view that, okay, make a judgment. That judgment could be erroneous at some stage, at 6th standard, 7th standard. You gradually expose the person to larger and larger questions and larger problems. I mean, our students see so much of violence and all the bad stuff on television through all sorts of channels. And we are talking about words which have gory, facts, and that will unsettle them. I don't think so.
No, what Ahmad Shah, should we not account for what Ahmad Shah Abdali did?
I think
what the likes of Mahmud Ghaznavi did, what the likes of Babar and Aurangzeb did. Tipu Sultan. There are many aspects which then what happens is, then those are very uncomfortable truths and uncomfortable facts about our history. Where do we know? Do we really think that society as a collective is conscious enough to be able to this one on days when we are having stuff like what was done with Annamalai's loss and what was done with a small goatling? That's the kind of society we are even here today. So do they even have the maturity to even understand the depths of how gory our past has been? Will they be
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to?
So-
Will they be able to appreciate 3.6
I mean,
crore
I
Hindus being
personally-
culled over 1500 years? So
I
there are a
personally
lot of questions that are
Yes.
uncomfortable, which perhaps at a certain level of maturity,
Yes.
when they reach, that's when they can palate and they can absorb and understand as fact, not as a particular narrative. Gentlemen, I have to wind this up because we're going to move on to the next subject. Like I said, we've got plenty of ground to cover. Shyam Prasad Mekaji is going to stay on with us. Sardar R.P. Singh will be joining us because days after the big election mandate, there's intense debate over the usage of EVMs or the electronic voting machines in the poll process. And this time the opposition raising it, the concern also being raised by the CEO of Platform X, Elon Musk, who's called for complete scrapping of the machine, citing it's prone to hacking. Now, on what basis he said that? Many have questioned him. The opposition hardly wasting any time to latch on to this entire issue. So clearly, the opposition wanting the ballot over the button, and what they can do with the ballot, history is documented it. But former Minister of State for Information and Technology, that is Rajiv Chandrasekhar, trashing the claims of Elon Musk, taking him on directly and saying these are all individual entity, individual machines, not connected with each other at all, not talking to each other at all, and they have been custom designed and they cannot be reprogrammed, they cannot be hacked. But this entire bogey about EVMs has come up again. It died down the moment the overall results came, and the results came in Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra and everywhere. But within Maharashtra, one of the seats in northwest Mumbai, again keenly contested around this entire EVM issue. This bogey being raised whenever the opposition is on the losing side, never raised when it's on the winning side. Now, does that? And when the Election Commission had called them to come and prove this, nobody turned up. So then, why keep raking it again? And what is the response going to be for someone like Elon Musk, who's looking at how international formats of electronic voting happen, and can that be retrofitted to Bharat? R.P. Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP with us. Shyam Prasad Meka, leader of the Congress party with us. Yes, Sardar R.P. Singh.
Well, Anand, they have lost election and they are not prepared to accept the reality that they lost election. Hindi mein kahawat hai, khasani billi khamba noche. They'll keep doing this. They have other options because they have to tell public that they have to tell people at large that, oh, we didn't lose election. The elections were rigged, or we were forced to accept what we accepted. Fact is, the Indian EVMs can't be rigged, can't be hacked. In June 2017, Election Commission called everyone, including Congress party, all parties, and said, please come and hack if you possible, and if you have any questions, please raise questions. None of them went there except one or two parties, probably the left parties went there. But the basic question is that these EVMs are independent units. They are not integrated units like being used in other countries. They have no connection to Wi-Fi, they have no connection to internet, they have no connection to Bluetooth. Now, they should talk about the way forward instead of raising question on the basic sanctity of the EVMs. They should talk about VVPAT. I mean, I'm with them that more VVPAT should be there, and government, by the time next general election happen, should have, if possible, as much VVPAT or probably 100% VVPAT. I mean, that's one option. But not questioning the EVM. Yes, they will believe in Elon Musk. I'll appreciate Mr. Musk should come and coordinate or should seek advice from BHEL. Probably BHEL will help him. He's supposed to be one of the best gadgetry man or the best technology man. Probably BHEL can help him to understand how Indian EVMs are not like the EVMs which are being used there.
Sam Petroda has also jumped in, saying that he has a knowledge of tech, IT, everything, and he believes that the EVMs can be hacked, and there is some ajibaji with the EVMs, Sardar R.P. Singh.
No. But what he's referring to is not Indian. He's referring to some John F. Kennedy Jr. By some internal elections. So their EVMs are different. I mean, he should raise questions about their EVMs. But before you connect his statement to the Indian context, I'll appreciate. I mean, Election Commission can also open up hackathon once again and allow Mr. Elon Musk to send his team and hack the machine if possible, which is not possible because it's an independent unit, and at every polling station, before the EVM is sealed, every leader from the all parties, they come and seal it, they stamp it, and then it's open in front of the counting agents and from all political parties. So where is the scope of hacking it? And then this saying that, oh, some password or some OTP came and
that statement that statement has been retracted and an apology or a corrigendum issued 24 hours later by the same publication saying that it was erroneous and they made a mistake. But the cat's out of the bag. Now,
but opposition is clinging on to that only.
Correct. So let Shyam Prasad make a realize. Is this bogey anyway? Because we've got a comprehensive system, Mr. Meka, which the world should actually emulate. The US conducting its elections two-party system with ballots took 48 days to announce its result. We have a far better and efficient system. Yes, there may be some issues, but the courts have also stepped in to put in proper checks and balances so that all doubts are assuaged.
Okay. So, Anand, first thing is, this is the problem with the way we set up the debate, right? You upfront started calling this a bogey, right? So, now I'm going to defend that. See, listen. This is an important issue for our politics, for our democracy. It's not about EVMs, whether they are hackable or not. It's not about anything. It's about being transparent and having a robust system that inspires confidence in everybody. The process, the mission, and everything. Now, going into technical things, Sardar RPN Singh was saying, EVM doesn't have Bluetooth, it doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Sir, my name is RP Singh, sir, not RPN Singh.
Sorry. I apologize. Okay. So it's good. Yeah, right. See, I'm not straight away throwing away the EVMs, or I'm not advocating to go back to any paper ballot. But is it inspiring confidence in the people? Question 1. How are the symbols loaded into the EVM? If it is not connectable, it's a standalone. How are the symbols loaded into the EVM? Now, understand viewers. Symbols are loaded by connecting to a laptop. Laptop is connected either through a serial port or a USB port. Right?
Sir,
okay, keep that aside.
Sir,
Wait a minute, I am not done yet.
No, Mr. Meka, have you ever seen any EVM connected to anything when you have gone to cast your ballot, sir? At that time, it's not connected and you have a VVPAT. All the EVMs are VVPAT machines and you get a confirmation of the vote that you have put in front of your own eyes. Now, despite that, if you're not willing to believe, sir, then you're then... So then all EVMs... Sir, I'm going across. I've got former Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekharji joining us. Let's go straight across to him. Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Namaste, Jai Hind, sir. Now, this is again the opposition's bogey after Elon Musk's tweet. You have turned around and responded. Others have turned around and responded. How would you answer this? Why is this being raised again and again? What's the problem with the electronic voting machines?
Oh, there is no problem with the electronic voting machine, Anand. And the election commission has said that. And if you remember, it's the same cast of characters. These 13, 14 parties in 2017 had raised the bogey then. The election commission had challenged them to come and hack the EVMs. Nobody showed up. These are people who are extremely happy raising questions for which they want to give the answers, and they don't want to hear the answers from the election commission or indeed anybody technically associated with EVM. They were given multiple opportunities in 2017, Anand, to come and hack the EVMs, prove that the EVMs are unsafe, and they couldn't do it. They didn't do it because the EVMs are absolutely custom designed to be safe and secure. And indeed, EVMs are a process that started way back in the 90s. 1998, they were trialed. Then in 2004, in the election that the Congress party won, they were first time deployed in the country. Nobody complained about EVMs then. And it is only today when the Congress party has slumped to his third most successive defeat under Rahul Gandhi, and the people of India have given the third historic mandate to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, that suddenly they want to cook up these issues to distract their own base from introspecting about this third defeat under Rahul Gandhi.
But why would a techie like Elon Musk?
Look, I think Elon Musk, let's for a minute dwell on Elon Musk and the sudden craze that the Congress party and their postdoctorate engineers have for Elon Musk's statement. Elon Musk has talked about a Puerto Rican election, and he has talked about EVMs in the US, and he has said that those are hackable, those are vulnerable to AI. And he's probably right, because those are machines that are sitting on a network. Those are absolutely very different machines compared to the EVMs in India. And
they're
the
connected
EVM
to a CPU.
Yes, and they are on the internet. They are connected. They have entry points. They are centered. They are using general purpose processors, and our EVMs are absolutely custom designed to do this very simple job of having a control unit and a ballot box and logging 3,500 votes per EVM. And there's a physical security mechanism. There is a design for security aspect to the EVMs. And this has been, by the way, the point here is that the viewers need to know this has been ad nauseum discussed and explained by the EC to the same Congress party starting from 2017 onwards. Not yesterday, not day before yesterday. The same EVM, the same political parties have asked these questions, and the EC has answered this. They went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has satisfied themselves of it. But today, when they have slumped to this third time defeat under Rahul Gandhi, they can't think of anything else to justify that defeat. So here comes the EVMs again, the poor old EVM.
No, and not just that, these EVMs are not one or two. There are lakhs of them. Each unit is a separate unit. But then we just heard Shyam Prasad Mika, Congress leader, saying you load it, right? You connect it to a laptop to load the symbols, to code the symbols in. So how can it not be hacked then?
Look, I mean, this is either deliberate ignorance or these are people pretending to have the facts to mislead the people. It is either one of these two scenarios. And I'm sorry for that so-called Congress leader. I mean, he must appraise himself for the facts before he comes on national TV and starts misinforming people. There is a control unit and there is a ballot unit to the EVM. There is a control unit that programs the ballot unit in terms of what are the symbols and what are the candidates. And the ballot unit, for anybody who has taken the time to understand, logs 3,500 votes per EVM, as for the information I have. Right. So therefore, and then there is all of these other very rigorous physical security issues that the EC adopts to protect the boxes. The fact is that the ballot unit cannot be tampered with because it is programmed once at the factory in a manner that it cannot be reprogrammed again. So right. these are, I mean, anybody who sort of even goes beneath the surface of these wild playing around by the Congress will find that it is absolutely misinformation and lies, as has been their want for the last 3 months.
Let me also ask you, when they win elections, they don't talk about it. When they lose elections, they talk about it. This also arised from what happened in Northwest Mumbai with Ravindra Vaikar's win, yes, and also the article that came in the Midday. Now, Midday has retracted. They said it can be charged with an OTP. Then they retracted the statement. A corrigendum was put about 24 hours later. Is this responsible? Or
no, Anand. I think a lot of people today who are entering and wading into this conversation, including the newspaper in Bombay, are actually, sorry to say this, are actually calculating that people are ignorant. That you can make up these stories about OTPs. This is not Zomato or Swiggy where you're ordering a Pani Puri where you get an OTP. This is not, this is an EVM. There is a control unit, there is a ballot unit, there is no OTP involved in it, as the EC themselves have clarified. So there is all of this imaginary story making that is at play here, fanned of course by the Congress ecosystem, that is designed, like the gentleman you said is a Congress leader said, to design to create doubts. They create the doubts and they say, oh, but we don't have the confidence. We have to be inspired confidence. This is precisely why the EC in 2017 invited the political parties to come and hack the EVM, and nobody showed up then.
But there was one big thing about a hacker trying to hack an EVM and said, this is how I can hack the EVM and this is why it can be done, although all of that was...
Look, like I said, I think it's time to call the bluff of these people. If they have facts, if they have evidence, they can go, elections are over, they can go to a court, they can present these facts in an election petition. I am a candidate who lost in Thiruvananthapuram. I would be happy to jump on the evidence that they have and allege that my opponent misused the EVM and hacked the EVM and won the election. If they have such facts, let them go to the court, file an election petition and say, here are the facts, here are the evidence. Instead of coming on national TV, going on Twitter and making these half-baked, irresponsible allegations that are designed to reduce trust in our electoral process. We are the world's largest democracy, Anand. The world looks at us with great admiration, except for this group of people in the Congress who want to constantly pull down our democracy and our democratic process. The rest of the world looks at us with admiration. And it is precisely that the objective of the Congress is.
I have to ask you this because this is just a development as soon as you agreed to join us and you've put on X your thoughts on this. Rahul Gandhi picking Rai Bareli and leaving Wayanad for Priyanka Vadra. Your thoughts there?
Oh, look, anybody has the right to contest anywhere in the country, but I think it is an absolute, betrayal, an absolute terrible thing to do that you did not tell the people of Wayanad that you were going to contest in Rai Bareli. I mean, I think anybody with an iota of decency, any with a modicum of decency and responsibility to the people that come out, queue up and vote for you, should have an obligation, should have the decency to tell the people of Wayanad, look, thank you for voting for me. I'm asking for your vote. But by the way, I'm also planning to abscond and go to Rai Bareli as soon as the results are out. I mean, this is something that anybody who have the courage and the dignity and the self-respect and most importantly, respecting the voters of Wayanad would have done. But this is the Congress party asking for self-respect, asking for respecting voters is obviously a far cry. I can only say this is shameful. And then to hoist another dynast as if there is no other option in the Congress party, but to put brother, sister, mother, grandmother, daughter, sister, uncle, as if that is the only option left, is, in my opinion, is as somebody who deeply is involved in Kerala politics and will continue to be so, I think this is shameful.
2 points. Amethi was not a dynast is one counter argument. Secondly, that it's Wayanad who wants junior Indira Gandhi to contest from Wayanad. So there is a mood there within the pro-Congress mood.
The issue is not whether junior Indira Gandhi or the future XYZ is going to. The issue is why couldn't Rahul Gandhi, when he was campaigning in Wayanad, come clean and say, look, I am also going to contest in Rai Bareli. Why didn't he say that? He waited till the elections in Wayanad were over on the 26th and then scooted to UP on the 1st and then announced his candidature in Rai Bareli. If you are so confident about people's support for you, you would not do that. You would not skulk away and announce this like this. If you are so confident about your standing in Wayanad and Rai Bareli, you would tell the people of Wayanad when you were campaigning that, look, I am asking for your vote, but I am also going to go contest in Rai Bareli. But you didn't do that.
Within the Congress corridors, the word is that Rahul Gandhi himself was not going to contest Rai Bareli. He had not decided. It was Sonia Gandhi who said कि मैं अपने बेटे के लिए जगह छोड़ के जा रही हूँ. So I'm entrusting my child.
If you believe that, Anand, if you believe that, you will believe that hell has frozen over and sun shines very, very hot and bright during winter in the Arctic. So I think, look, let's not fool ourselves and delude ourselves that Rahul Gandhi did not know. He knew very well. That is why he did not open his mouth in Wayanad till the elections were over. And that is why 4 days later, he went running to Rai Bareli to file his nomination.
Final question, Rajiv ji. 24th of June, what to expect? You have a plan, 100 days for Thiruvananthapuram, you said?
No, look, I said that during the elections, Anand. You covered that election. I said that this is not for me about election. I got 35 days to campaign. I did my best. 3.5 lakh people from Thiruvananthapuram gave me warmth and affection. I certainly believe it's my duty to work for them and to serve them. And that is exactly what I'll do. And I will, on the 24th of this month, roll out my 100-day agenda for Thiruvananthapuram. And that will be followed by another 100 days and followed by another 100 days. And I hope to make a mark there in Thiruvananthapuram by doing some real work.
So no rest or respite for Dr. Tharoor. So you're going to keep that going.
I mean, he doesn't figure in my scheme of things at all. It is people that I'm focused on and to improve their lives with the help of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Rajiv ji, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we're in conversation with Dr. R. Balasubramaniam, the author of Power Within, Leadership Lessons and where he combines dharma with the modern interpretations of leadership. And the exemplar is Prime Minister Narendra Damodar Das Modi. Stay with us. Namaste and Jai Hind. He's an author of 9 books. 2 of them are on leadership. The latest one is in my hand. It's called The Power Within, and it chronicles the leadership style of Prime Minister Narendra Damodar Das Modi. Dr. R. Balasubramaniam, Namaskaram. You are playing multiple roles and you are a past master at a lot of things. But first up, congratulations on this book.
Thank you.
I have not read it fully, but whatever I have read, it's very exhaustive. And what you've tried to do is very challenging. And let's start from there. You have tried to compare the Western definitions of leadership vis-a-vis the Bharatiya dharmic definitions from our scriptures, styles of leadership. And it's all around one man who perhaps is one of the most polarizing identities in the world today. You either like him or you don't like him. And that's PM Narendra Modi. So let's start with how did that happen? And why did you decide to dive into something as challenging as this?
What you say is right. It's a challenge. And, my own life and my past background, like you said, one of the hats I had was being a civil society activist. Living and working amidst indigenous tribal communities for more than 25 years, I realized that several things were wrong. One of the major things I realized was the policies that the state makes for its own citizens is bereft of the understanding of what citizens want and where they are. So this search, this hunger of trying to say I would find answers to the development challenges I was facing, took me from one place to the other, took me to Harvard, and after a few specializations and fellowships there, I sort of zeroed in on saying that the leadership of the policy maker and not the actual policy matters. Because if you're really sensitive, if you understand communities and citizenship, and you respond to their needs, you also possibly have the ability to lead the policy change you require. After enough studies and reading, and that's a Western background, and that's where I acquired the knowledge of how the West sees the whole thing. And I realized they only celebrate being a leader. And in that search for understanding this, one of the books I read was Archie Brown's The Myth of a Strong Leader. Yeah. And where he only analyzes a few leaders around the West, mostly the global North and including Russia, and then comes to the conclusion that that's a myth. To me, it seemed really not really appropriate, primarily because the West actually celebrates the human, the person, being a leader, and therefore without followers, you're not a leader even. But I was looking at then and asking myself, is there something different from where I come from? I've seen tribal chieftains in action, and my earlier book was all about analyzing different aspects of the research I discovered about Indic and Bharatiya traditions, and therefore trying to get them to be represented by a person I knew. And in that search, before that, I realized that there's so much that we have in our country, whether it's our history, whether it is our folklore, whether it's Panchatantra, the Jataka tales, Mahabharata, or the Ramayana, or the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita. It's all a lens that you use. Now, if you lose a very purist lens of just spirituality, it can be just spirituality. But if you look at Atmabodha of Adi Shankaracharya and look at it as a pursuit of understanding yourself, and therefore that leading to something else, that's a different way of looking at it.
In the book itself, where someone like Nitin Nohria has written the foreword to it, they are not people who generally write something which they consider is a hagiographic effort. And the advanced praise, it's the who's who list that any author would want to bring together when you're doing any literary work. Why did they agree to write what they did?
No, I think each one of them is, like you said, an extremely accomplished person in their own spaces. Like whether it's Bill Gates, who actually is not only who founded Microsoft, but he's actually more known for his philanthropic work and his ability to think through what could be solutions for global problems.
I just want to read out this who's who list because it's quite something which you as an author should covet, and me as a reader was wondering if these are the people who believe that this book is worth reading, then I have to read every word of it. So that's where I'm saying there's Bill Gates, there's Amit Chandra of Bain Capital, there's Debjani Ghosh of NASSCOM, there is Anand Mahindra and Falguni Nair, Amish Tripathi, Deepa Mani, and there is also Madhusudan Sai has also written, Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai has written, Anita Karwal has written, Nikhil Kamath has written, N. Chandrasekharan ji of Charter Sons has written, and Meenakshi Jenu Kuruba, a tribal woman of course. So she's also written. And all of them have read the book.
Meenakshi has been explained the book because she can read Kannada and not English. So I told the story was told to her, and she said, "This is something which I want to speak." And it's also to show that, that's what gives me hope, that this, the challenge of leadership is something which is negotiable for all of us, and we can actually live up to that standards if we work hard, show the discipline, the determination, the dispassion, and the discernment that I write about in the book, which he showed. So it makes it possible for the reader.
Possible for the... No, as an author, you would also know, and you're also very astute, so you would know whose team has sent the forward as, as a formality, and who has actually taken the pains to read it. So was it satisfying for you that a lot of them have actually taken the pains to read it?
I think everybody is listed there has actually read the book and to give a forward. Because that was a precondition. Because everybody today, like you say, it's a world which is polarized, and so everybody is sensitive. So I think it's fair. Like Nitin was very clear that until he read the book, he wouldn't write the forward. And that meant a little delay in collecting the endorsements, etc. But that's what they did. And the happy part for me is, I declare it in the book also, that it's neither a hagiography nor a biography. It's not a chronicled sequence of his life. It's just an expression of leadership that I have discovered through the tenets of Bharatiya wisdom and use him as an exemplar to substantiate it. It also explains a lot of what he is from an Indic lens. As much as a lot of Indic concepts of leadership, I use the instrument of Modi to explain it.
Correct. So let me then ask you this. Where did you see this manifest in Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Because Nitinji also quotes it, and you've quoted it towards the end, this passage where you say, as is your desire, so is your intention. As is your intention, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. And as is your deed, so is your destiny. but this is contrary to what they say कि लिखवा के लाया है कि it's happening. So that means unless there is a desire that you want to lead, then it will not translate into an intent, and that intent will not translate into a will, and that will not become a deed, and that deed won't become a destiny. Many believe that he's destined to be a leader. You are saying, no, he had an innate desire to do something. So were you able to...
Yeah, in a sense, yes. But if you look at his, possibly, today in the land of India, we all understand karma and rebirths and all that. Now, people can ridicule it or dismiss it off in their own ways. But I think everybody is born with a purpose. Discovering the purpose is the real journey that you do within yourself.
Yeah.
Many of us live our lives without even asking a question, why was I born?
Correct.
And the single question that Ramana Maharshi asked us to ask, who am I? That's all the philosophy you have to get into.
Yeah.
So I see spirituality as an opportunity for...
You mentioned that you are born for a purpose, but the challenge is to figure out what that purpose is and why are you born.
And the West is also clear. Mark Twain himself in one place writes, you're born twice in your life.
Yeah.
Once the day you're actually born and the day you discover your purpose.
Why you're born, yeah.
For him, a crucible incident in his life. And purpose is not something that is transient, which evolves over time. Purpose can expand over time. And I again a lot of my work in my life is on Swami Vivekananda, and the message that inspires me is his work. He writes two particular places. One he says about we have to believe in a great cause. We have to think about it, live it, breathe it, sleep on it, and he says that will unleash enormous power from within, and that potential you'll become a human dynamo and you'll start achieving it. There's a concept called darshana, which I write about.
Correct.
Darshana is not darshans of all the places. Darshana is using the opportunity of traveling around
to see, imbibe, absorb.
Yes, look outside, but get it inside and reflect on it. I think translating a purpose, a vision to concrete reality started manifesting in different ways. It started off as being a Swayamsevak, a Pracharak. And then it expanded into when the political opportunity came, expanded into political opportunity. I don't think he would have truly, for him to service was the motto. The manifestation of the service, he got various platforms. Then the Chief Minister of Gujarat and today the Prime Minister, and maybe in a global context something bigger. But the idea is the service has not changed.
Co-powered by
নয় বলো না নয় আগে যাবো নির্মলজি আমি কেন বলতে যাবো তোমাকে ভাই তো আমি এখান থেকে ঠিক আমার চ্যানেল এখানে দেখা যাচ্ছে না
यहाँ मतलब हम लोग जब सुबह की आज तो हम लोग का बकरा ईद है। जब हम लोग नमाज पढ़ के बाहर निकले तो हम लोग को मतलब खबर आया कि हमारे यहाँ 2 किलोमीटर अंदर एक ट्रेन दुर्घटना हुई है। तो हम लोग जो है मतलब इसको तो लाइव नहीं देखा, हम लोग सुना, फिर जाकर मतलब जब हम लोग को पता चला फिर हम लोग यहाँ स्पॉट आके अभी देख रहे हैं। ये तो जो है बहुत
क्या देख रहे हैं आप, क्या नजर
यहाँ तो मतलब जो है एक ट्रेन शायद खड़ी हुई थी और एक ट्रेन आके जो है इनसे टकरा गई शायद।
एक ही लाइन पे एक ही पटरी पे था।
जी हाँ, एक ही पटरी पे शायद एक ट्रेन खड़ी थी या जा रही थी, शायद स्लो थी, और मतलब एक ट्रेन आ रही थी, आके जो है मतलब ऐसी दुर्घटना हुई है शायद।
जब ये घटना घटी तब टाइम हो रहा था अप्रॉक्स 8:35 मॉर्निंग। तो जितना हम लोग को पता चला सामने कंचना जो एक्सप्रेस है वो धीरे गति से चल रहा था, वो खड़ा नहीं था, धीरे गति चल रहा था। पीछे से जो मालगाड़ी है वो अचानक बहुत स्पीड से था, वो आके पीछे से मर दिया उसको।
तो क्या एक ही ट्रैक पे हुआ है?
एक ही ट्रैक पे दो ट्रेन एक ही ट्रैक पे आ गया। अचानक देखिए इतना आवाज हुआ था, यहाँ पे जो लोकेलिटी जितना सब है सब आके इसके ऊपर उसमें लग गया। स्पॉट डेट हम लोग को जितना पता चला 5-6 जन यहाँ पे रेस्क्यू किया गया है। अभी भी अब देख सकते हैं कि अभी जस्ट नाउ एक जन को रेस्क्यू करके गया।
CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Hello and welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. So Rahul Gandhi has finally made the decision. He has chosen to retain Raebareli and give up Wayanad. Now his sister and Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will be the Congress's candidate from the Wayanad seat. This will mark Priyanka Gandhi's election debut. The Congress party's contention is that a Gandhi family member will still continue to represent Wayanad. But the BJP is already hitting back, saying that Rahul Gandhi has betrayed the people of Wayanad and that Priyanka Gandhi is being made a scapegoat. Now, which of these two narratives will find resonance with the people of Wayanad? A by-election is due to take place in the next 6 months. But first, the story of this expected but rather dramatic announcement when it actually happened. Rahul Gandhi retaining Raebareli and his sister Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will now contest from the other seat of Wayanad.
मेरा रायबरेली से और वायनाड से इमोशनल कनेक्शन है। पिछले 5 सालों में मैं वायनाड का एमपी था और वायनाड के सब लोगों ने, हर पार्टी के लोगों ने प्यार दिया। रायबरेली का पुराना रिश्ता है। काफ़ी खुशी हो रही है कि मैं उनको फिर से रिप्रेजेंट करूँगा।
बहुत खुश हूँ मैं। आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू बी एबल टू रिप्रेजेंट वायनाड एंड ऑल आई विल से इज दैट आई वोंट लेट देम फील हिज एब्सेंस।
पार्टी नहीं, एक पारिवारिक कंपनी है, ये तो आज सिद्ध हो गया। माताजी राज्यसभा में होंगी, बेटा जी लोकसभा की एक सीट से होंगे और प्रियंका जी को लोकसभा की दूसरी सीट से, मतलब तीनों सदस्य सदन में होंगे।
All right, so here's how things have come to such a pass that Rahul Gandhi has had to choose between one of the two constituencies that he won from. So the twin victories of Rahul Gandhi, both in Raebareli and in Wayanad. In Raebareli, which was his mother's seat, and then of course she decided to go to the Rajya Sabha from Rajasthan, Rahul Gandhi contested from that seat for the first time in 2024. He won by 66%, or almost 2/3 of the votes in that constituency. He defeated Dinesh Pratap Singh of the BJP. In Wayanad, which he was representing from 2019, remember he went to Wayanad in the first place because he got defeated in Amethi by Smriti Irani in the 2019 election. This time he was representing Wayanad for the second term. He got almost 60% of the votes. Dinesh Pratap Singh in Raebareli, who was the BJP candidate, he got a little under a third of the votes at 28.6%. Annie Raja of the CPI, India Alliance partner, but she still decided to fight from Wayanad. She got about a little over a quarter of the votes. So this is how it stacked up, and then Thakur Yadav of the BSP getting 2% of the votes in Raebareli, and K. Surendran, the Kerala state president of the BJP, getting about 13% of the votes. So Rahul Gandhi has decided to give up on the seat of Wayanad and instead retain the seat of Raebareli. So his sister Priyanka Gandhi will now fight a bypoll in Wayanad. Will she be able to get the kind of 60% vote share that Rahul Gandhi got? Will she be able to get a similar margin, if you will? Here's the political dynamics of the Wayanad seat. Wayanad is a relatively new constituency. It was formed in 2009 after delimitation of constituencies. The Congress's M.I. Shanavas had won the first election from Wayanad seat. In that poll, he beat the CPI's Rahmatullah by 1.5 lakh votes. Shanavas then retained the seat again in 2014, but his victory margin fell